Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly's Quickie Hurricane Podcast. We're doing this for several reasons. One, to test out the equipment.
Yes.
We sort of stumbled our way through the show today. Also, too, we just wanted to check in on you that listen from our Miguel and Holly Florida fam, and those that are in Georgia, that are northern Florida and South Carolina. They're going to be getting the storm over the next 24 hours. So we're just living in dangerous times. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone, if you are watching this right now, give us a little thumbs up that you can hear all of us and Holly. How are you, Holly?
Understandably so.
They're saying no Holly sound. Now can't hear Holly.
Well, what if, should I unmute?
Can't hear her.
Nothing.
All right. Yes. So I will mute your clean feed, undo your StreamYard. All right, and then unmute your StreamYard.
I have unmuted StreamYard.
Okay,
What
can you hear
about
Holly
now?
Who spelled your name Hollie? What?
People
I
do.
can't.
Sometimes I did just an I.
It's right.
Yeah,
It's
I
right
know. It's right there. I know. It's fine.
Okay. I get
I
it.
think
All
we
right.
can hear me now.
So I think we are planning on the podcast, but
No,
y'all
but
hear
this
all
is
the
what,
time.
to be absolutely honest, this is what this is supposed to be for. Like, if we
Mhm.
want to do this tomorrow, if I'm still at home, we have to know how it works.
Yeah. So when we
Would
do
I be on the
StreamYard-
air if I'm this way?
Yeah, because you're just coming through the computer, so you're fine.
Okay.
With the computer pot. So you're coming from the same pot regardless. It's just on how it's outputted for either watching or listening. But listening on the on-air feed is fine.
Good. And it still sounds clear even though we're not on clean feeds?
Yeah, I mean, because you're essentially doing the same thing. It's just where the audio is going. It's just going through StreamYard instead of clean feed.
Okay,
So-
I just didn't know if StreamYard would be as clean feed.
Just for the show open, and then maybe confessions.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Y'all, welcome to. So I don't know if y'all know this about me, but not only did I get a broadcasting degree from Georgia Southern University, I also got a radio engineering degree and a partial IT degree.
Word.
No, you didn't, but you should have.
After today.
Right.
But listen, years ago when we did radio in Panama City, like I was like the part-time engineer where there were times where I would have to go to the transmitter for Island 106 and like press the buttons and stuff to make sure things were working. And actually at the beginning of my career, when I was the assistant to the operations director, John Weatherby at Clear Channel Savannah, that was part of my job when like stations, especially in streaming in the early days, where like I would have to go in. This is before iHeart became iHeart, and you had like a national help desk. I was the one troubleshooting the Clear Channel radio stations streaming services back then.
Well, that's what with Clear Channel, you had engineers in the building back then. And or if you didn't have an engineer, you had somebody like you that was like a normal employee that could still like muddle through it.
Yeah, now it's all too complicated. Like I don't know how anything works. So,
but we also don't have engineers. So,
yeah, we're fine. We're here.
We're here.
Before we find out, get the rundown from Holly, because we've been working through all the technology issues. Kelvin, how are you?
Yeah.
How am I?
How are you? You've been behind the scenes making sure that all the stuff is edited and online and on Facebook and Instagram. And I haven't checked in on you today. How are you?
I have nothing to complain about. Absolutely not. I feel so helpless. You got like you're handling the board. I obviously can't control anything on my end. Holly's audio has been messing up all day. I also can't do anything. So I'm here for both of y'all. That's how I feel.
Right. But that can be a hard job too, because feeling
know.
helpless is like when you're like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And it's like, well,
Well, it's just 4 hours of guilt. So yeah.
Welcome to my life. I feel like a sack of poo. I'm just sitting in my house going, well, it looks good on my end.
But you're a better person than I am, because if it was me, I'd be like, look, I have a hurricane going on right now. Like, you guys can obviously handle it without me. So you're a better person than I am.
I would feel too guilty if I did that. I'd be like, I could do it and I didn't. Why didn't I do it?
There's guilt all around.
All the guilt.
Well, we stumbled our way through it. So we are here. We are somewhat queer, and we are doing the damn thing.
True.
For this quickie hurricane podcast. So Holly, describe the situation. So for those of you, just to catch you up, especially for people that are coming in that maybe didn't hear the on-air show, especially for our Charlotte listeners, Holly splits her time between Charlotte and Florida, and particularly St. Pete, Florida, where right now there's a lot of storm surge and all that stuff happening right now. So sort of describe the scene, what's going on around your house.
Well, right as we speak right now, it's weird because the sky is very dark gray and the clouds are moving real fast. I mean, that's one of the tail ends of Idalia. What's awful, and I've been seeing this trickle in a little bit more, is the flooding in the Tampa Bay area, which I knew was coming. Like, we all knew that the storm surge was going to be the issue this storm, not so much the wind. But like, the bridges are very floody, Bayshore, Gulf Boulevard, everything is just a lot of water up where you wouldn't normally have it. I feel pretty good about one thing though, because I'm technically in flood zone A. I didn't evacuate. It's fine.
Evacuation zone A. And so I want to just, if you don't live in Florida and you haven't, then, you're like, oh, that's crazy. But like, so flood zone A is also evacuation zone A. And I used to live near Holly. And so I lived like 5 minutes away from you. And so I was in A as well. And so what that means is you are the first people that normally they say you need to get out of town, because if things get really bad, we can't come to you unless it's safe for us to come to you. Yeah. And so there's always that gamble you have to roll with on, am I going to be okay? And if we're not okay, are we okay long enough until people can get to us? And that's always the sort of gamble that you have to go with when you're there.
Now, I'm glad to say that in my mind, because we've never had a situation since I've been in this house that there was a bad storm surge like just happened now. Because I bought the house in 2017. We haven't had a bad storm surge situation until now. And I mean, knock on wood, my neighborhood is clear. I'm not dealing with any flooding, even though I am in zone A. I think it's just I don't know how they make these maps, but we're right on the edge of zone B. And I think I'm high enough and the house is up high enough that I'd be okay. So that's why I chose to stay, because I'm like 3 miles away from the bay. Even if we had a 10-foot storm surge, it's not coming in 10 feet, 3 miles into the coast. Right. So anyway, I did a lot of math with this. So it's still storming. There's a lot of flooding happening, even though the hurricane is past us and it has already made landfall up north. What happened, and I still have power somehow, thank the Lord. I'm very thankful for that, because that's an awful thing. I still have power. Fingers crossed that it stays on the rest of the day. I got a hole in my roof last night. I don't understand what happened. And it was very scary and confusing at 10 p.m. last night, because my fiance and I thought we had done all of the good prepping. My car's in the garage. We've got everything in that's supposed to be in. We were all set. We were like, oh, the lights are on still. My bedtime is usually about 10 p.m. So I climb into bed at 10 and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me just I got to pee one more time. So right about 10 o'clock, I got out of bed to pee and my leg hit this wet spot on the bottom of the bed. And I was like, what is wet? I was like, what is wet?
Did we do it? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening right now?
Well, then I got kind of mad because I was, for some reason, I was like, did you pee? Like, or whatever. I don't even know. I was half asleep, so I was not really thinking clearly. And I will be 100% with you. I had 2 Trulies last night. So
Maybe you peed.
maybe I peed.
Listen, it's a hurricane party, so
Right.
So I'm like feeling the bed, and then I'm feeling that something is dripping, and then something is not just dripping, something is pouring, and I immediately was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, turn the lights on. What's happening? We turn the lights on. A steady stream of water is pouring out of the ceiling fan hole, like where the ceiling fan is attached to the ceiling. Water is just coming out of there. And of course the fan is freaking huge. So it's like pouring off the edges and like everywhere. And I was like, what do we do? Like, we were just stunned. We're just looking at this pouring onto the bed. I'm like, get some towels, thinking it was like a one little thing. No. And then after we got the towels, I was like, get a bucket.
Get a bucket and a mop. That's a wet ass ceiling.
Yes, it was.
Oh my God, I should make a parody song. Get a bucket and a mop. That's a wet ass ceiling.
It is. Still.
It's a WAC.
We're losing it.
That's the clip for today. That's the clip. That's the clip right there.
As my ceiling is still raining.
Sorry, Holly, I'm talking about your WAC. Sorry.
A little not as funny for me, but that's okay.
Holly's like, too soon.
It's a little too soon. I'm not even done with the story.
Sorry. It's a wet ass ceiling.
Still going.
I'm delirious.
She's in the middle of the hurricane.
Deb on Facebook over here, like, too funny. Like, yeah, my ceiling is leaking.
She's going through it right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Holly.
Yeah, we have to laugh. We have to laugh, otherwise we'll cry. I did cry last night, but we're laughing. It's fine.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
All right, so you got a bucket.
Yes. It was actually a pan from the kitchen.
Macaroni in the pot.
She's gonna exit out. No, Deb, I know. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at them. We did get 2 pots from the kitchen. It was not macaroni in a pot. It was water that was gushing from the ceiling. And then it was like, oh my God, this is not going to contain it. So luckily we remembered that we have one of those big old Rubbermaid tubs that you store like Christmas ornaments in empty in the garage. And the garage is slam full because my car's in there and it doesn't normally fit. So I'm like in the middle of the night in the rain. Well, it felt like the middle of the night. I'm like going to get this tub. So I get that and I put that on the bed and it's catching all the things that the water is coming from. So it's getting that. But then I look on the ceiling and I realize there's all these like dark brown spots that are starting to appear on the ceiling that are also dripping. And I'm like, how much water is in the ceiling? I don't know. So then we're like, what if the fan comes down? Then we tried to undo the fan. And here's a fun story. Miguel's husband, Abe, actually put that fan up for us. And I don't know what kind of Iron Man arm that bitch used on this fan. In my adrenaline rush, panicked state, I'm trying to do the screwdriver. It was not coming out of the ceiling. We turned the power off to that room. I was like, what if we get electrocuted?
Oh my God. That's what I was about to ask. Did you turn the power off to?
We did. So it's now we're in the dark trying to get the water, also trying to unscrew the fan, holding a flashlight.
Now,
we like took apart pieces of the fan, but it's still kind of tiltedly hanging from the ceiling.
Not to put any fear in you, but I'm just legit curious because I haven't seen the roof of your house. I've never been on top of there, but I know you got solar panels. Is there any fear of like if the roof is compromised that it could like fall in or anything? Is that a thing? I don't know.
I'm sure it is a thing, but I don't know if the roof is structurally compromised. From what we could tell, the hole doesn't look that big, but like it's been raining so much. It to me, and I only saw it in the dark last night. I haven't been outside to look at it this morning. In the dark last night, it looked like it was maybe like a foot or less in diameter.
Jesus.
And it looks like some of the shingles blew around. And I'm like, the first thing I thought, honest to God, was like, did that mother bleeping raccoon come back and tear my roof up? Because if it did, I'm gonna shoot it.
Pookie's back.
Pookie's back. I don't know though, but because it wasn't that windy last night, and I don't think I didn't hear anything hit the house, so I don't know how this hole got there. But it's still there. It's still raining, and I'm assuming it's still raining in our bedroom as we speak. Like,
Ugh.
I don't know more brown spots appearing on the ceiling. I can't get the fan down. Then we called the insurance adjuster because we were like, I think this is an insurance claim, and that guy was a dick. Like, it's now like midnight. I don't know. He was so mean. I don't like to. I was literally panicked, y'all. I started like hyperventilating. I was crying last night because I'm like, what do we do? Like, what is happening? I don't know what to do. And so we looked up for the brochure. We called the number for the insurance company. And I know it's under my name, but I was like to my fiance, I'm like, can you just talk to them? Because I'm feeling a type of way. So he starts the conversation. And then the guy was like, are you the homeowner? And my fiance's like, no, it's my fiance. And he's like, I need to speak to her only. And I'm like, hi, I'm here. And so I'm trying to talk to him too. And then in the background, my fiance is like saying a couple things. And the guy on the phone's like, I need to talk to one of you. I was like, fine. Now my fiance is pissed.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to explain about what's happening. And the guy on the phone is like, well, it's a hurricane. So, I mean, at best, we may get someone out in the next 5 days. I was like, what do I do right now? And he was just such a dick about it. So we got it. Finally, I was like, okay, got it. I'll just call someone. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I hung up because I was pissed. He gave me like no help. He was just like, if it gets really bad, call back. I'm like, what is your definition of really bad? It's raining in my house. Like, what? I'm sorry. This is the first time I told the story. So I'm just
so frustrating. Yeah.
So then we went outside, found out there was a hole in the roof. And then my fiance's like, call them back. I'm like, I don't talk to that man again. He's like, you're going to get somebody else. Call them back. Mm-hmm. So then I did. And I got the nicest, sweetest girl. And I told her the other guy was a dick. And she was so apologetic. Like, she actually helped me a lot. She's like, I'm bumping your claim up to urgent because clearly that's an emergency. I'm like, thank you.
There's water in your house.
And she's like, I don't know why that other gentleman didn't think that this was an urgent situation. I was like, I mean, maybe if my roof had blown off, that would be worse, obviously, but it's still like, I'm like, someone's going to have to pay something. And I'm assuming you people don't want to pay more than what you already have to pay. Like, help me fix this. What are you doing? Maya has come up.
Oh,
she's bored. And she wants to watch us.
Gotcha. She wants to watch the. Hey, Maya, how you doing?
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hi.
What's popping?
How are you feeling?
How are you feeling? He said.
Good.
Oh, good. Good.
Oh, okay.
Just like
good.
Thank God.
So, by the time all that happened, and then I called a roofing company that I have used before to fix the hole with the raccoon. And I went through their emergency line and left my number to call, for have them call me back. And then about 1:30 in the morning, I was like, I don't even feel good right now. I think I need to get some sleep, but there's nothing we can do. So my fiance stayed up later. He stayed up until about 3 to make sure that the bucket didn't overflow in the room. So that's why I'm at this morning. Like,
I tell you what, if you've never been through it and going through what you've been through, or the days leading up to a hurricane and the anticipation, it is one of the most gut-wrenching things to experience because you have the anticipation of days of like, do I leave? Do I not leave? What supplies do I stock? Who's coming here? Are we going to be okay? Then going through the storm. And then if you have damage, dealing with that after the fact. I mean, it's like a 3-pronged long process as opposed to, and not saying that it's worse or better, but then like a tornado that just pops out of nowhere and it's like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Because the anticipation leading up.
Right. It's just a whole different long drawn out. Like I was getting emotional this morning just watching CNN when I got to the studio here in Charlotte at 4:00 this morning and just looking at the guy on Bayshore, up to his knees. And then by the time we started the show and I changed it to a local station, it was like up to his midsection. And I'm like, I've ridden my bike there before. That's crazy. And then they have the local reporter for one of the channels I watch here in Charlotte. She was in St. Pete, I think near the pier, like reporting from there. And it's like all these places that I know very well. And it's just like getting emotional thinking about all of you and what you're going through and making sure that you're okay. And it's a whole scary thing that's so drawn out, and it's going to be the next few hours. Right now it's 10:30 if you're listening to this time delayed, of you dealing with this, living in that area. It's just a scary situation.
I know. I had never had to deal with a damage situation like this before. So I don't even know. I feel like I'm going to have to make a phone call that I don't even want to make later again to the insurance company because they told me that they were going to call me within 24 hours. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for them to call me. Well, then, my fiance's dad was like, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You should probably call them again and make sure that they know you exist. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Girl, not when someone's a dick like that. Oh, wait, is Maya still in the room?
I don't know if she can hear you that well. It's fine.
Okay. When someone's like that, I will never off the bat be rude. But if you're giving me that energy, Angela Jackson, my mom, is gonna come out. She'll never come out just off without
being provoked.
Right. But if you are poking it and you're being rude when I'm just trying to be nice and to be very patient, Angela Jackson is about to come to this phone. You about to get slapped down. Not today. Well,
and the girl was nice though. And she assured me that someone would call me within 24 hours. So I'm almost like, I feel like I should wait. But now I'm about to go downstairs and fiance will be like, you gonna call? And I'll be like, and say what? Hey, just checking to make sure. Oh God, that makes me so awkward.
24 hours in a hurricane time is very sensitive. Like anything can happen within those 24 hours.
I know. And we're still getting bands of it, like rain and storms and things like that. So, and I know the flooding is not going down anytime soon because we got high tide coming in about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Here's some comments. Kristen said, thank God you got another person to help you. No one deserved to be talked to that way.
In an emergency, right?
Melody said, I'm glad you called back and got someone that helped you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then this is sweet. Teresa said, wow, Maya's totally a mini me of you, Holly. And then Martha said, Holly, if you have a ladder, I have a tarp you can use.
I appreciate that, Martha, but I can't get on the roof. I tried once in decent conditions. And it didn't go very well.
Yeah, let's not have you breaking the other arm.
Right. I just can't. We do have a ladder, but I can't get on the roof.
Deb said it's so nerve-wracking. Stefan said hurricane equals so much mental energy. Deb also said Gulfport is underwater as well. Zinda said, sadly, you have to keep on them if they are rude. Speak to a supervisor. I do. And then Ashley said, send me the number. I'll call and be you.
Talking to the supervisor is a good route, though. That's what I would have done.
I didn't even, but that's the problem. I was in almost shock and very flustered. And I was just like, I'm sorry for bothering you. I know it's midnight, but it says 24 hours.
Your shift, yes.
Maybe don't take the overnight shift if you don't want to talk to people.
My apartment just sent a text and said, hurricane is supposed to hit around 4 p.m. Secure loose items on your balcony.
It's a fast mover.
4 p.m.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna come here like tomorrow.
that's what I thought
No.
too. They just said 4 p.m.
Good move.
to Charlotte. All right. Well, let's end on a nice inspirational note.
Oh, good.
Or Kelvin, how is your family down in Miami?
They're fine.
Was everything?
It
I don't
didn't go
think-
anywhere. Near
Yeah, I
Miami.
don't think
Did
they're
it get
really
any
getting
bans or
much.
any rain or anything?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything.
Have you called to check on them?
No, but you know, I can send. You know, it's 10:30. I can send them a text.
Yeah.
I'm checking on my friends in Orlando. Actually.
Girl, check on their walks.
Orlando was a little messed up. Like last night while St. Pete, Tampa was sort of in this like free patch where nothing was happening, which is eerie. Like the bands are around you, but not in you, on you, over you, whatever. You
In
look
you.
to Orlando, red. I was like, I bet they didn't think they were going to get that.
No. Meanwhile, over here, Anne Marie said, "I'm getting hammered."
Oh,
Okay.
Let's see here. Heather said, "If you have an attic, you can try patching the hole from the attic side with the tarp and Nell's staple gun tightly. Stay safe, everyone."
I don't. I mean, we have an attic, but I don't think it's where the hole is. I don't think it's accessible from the inside.
I've always said the same thing myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't even know what I said that makes sense, but okay.
No, that makes sense.
It does.
I checked in on my friend, Danny B, which is one of our friends.
Yeah.
She said, "Child, it ain't really here, so we good."
Okay, yeah. We just got like a string of thunderstorms, probably.
Yeah.
One of the reviews we got from I don't want to say her name and mispronounce it. Paula, truly real, all the feels. This is a review from Apple Podcasts as we're on our way to get 500 reviews. We're at 483. I have been listening to the podcast since 2017. I have laughed with and at all of them. I have cried with and for each person. I am just amazed at how a group of strangers can truly make me feel like I know them and they get me. I've made slight and major changes in my life and state of mind just by taking in simple stories they've all shared from life experiences. Miguel and I are often curious about the same things. Holly has same spiritual values and empathetic ways as I do. Learned I could possibly be an empath from her. And recently, Kelvin's 13-year-old humor is so contagious. I am so proud of all of your accomplishments. My heart swells with pride to see all of your growth and genuine joy to think of what's to come. Tears are coming up. Thank you for giving me all the feels. One proud listener, Paula. Oh, Platypus Posse.
Man, that's so nice.
Yeah.
How you like that? Kelvin, what's that for?
What? Like someone says what you do and then you get mad about it.
No, that's so sweet. I love that review.
I love it. It's great.
Most of it. I didn't know I had 13-year-old humor.
Sometimes you do.
I
But
do.
you know
No.
what Miguel exit on because Miguel does as well.
Oh, I say proudly I have
The
13-year-old
two of
humor.
y'all.
Listen, I feel like my 13-year-old humor offsets my cantankerous side because
Yes.
I can borderline be crotchety sometimes. And so I feel like that's a good balance for me to then also talk about Holly's walk.
It's still raining in my house.
Kristen said, Holly, please be safe with the bands. Continue here with us. Also to Miguel and Calvin, be safe as the storm heads your way. And then Deb said, where I leave reviews. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review. If not, it's all cool. We love you. Producer Calvin, how can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X at Kelvin Live.
Holly?
Radio Holly on all the things. I'm not doing anything right this minute on it because I need to get my life together.
Yeah, you need to go fix that hole and
I
figure
know.
out the water.
And like, yo, I feel like I'm falling apart. My dishwasher's broken too right now,
Oh, girl.
and my phone screen is cracked. So when I take pictures of it, you're gonna be like, "Why do you have a nasty phone?" Like, I get my stuff together.
We
It's fine.
told you to go to your spot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Right before
yesterday.
the hurricane.
Oh yeah, and then our old boss man Will is here, sending positive vibes your way. Holly, you got this.
Thank you. I appreciate your faith in me to be an adult.
All right, mine is at Miguel Fuller. Holly, we will talk to you tomorrow, and we will not be here on Friday. That was already pre-planned, but we will be back next Wednesday. All right, or actually, when we're back on Tuesday, just to give an update on where everybody is with all the things that are happening. So
sounds good.
All right, we will see you all then. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.